Hi, I'm Megan Norman, and this is a new series called Made for Minnesota Moms. I'm a mom of three and a Minneapolis newborn and family photographer. I'm hoping for real conversations with Minnesota women who support pregnancy, birth, and postpartum, sharing resources you can actually use because the internet at 2 a.m. can be a lot. Today, I'm with Joy McAfee, a certified postpartum doula, early childhood educator, and a trauma-informed care practitioner. Joy provides comprehensive postpartum support to help parents, infants, and children thrive during the first year after birth. I mean, those are all such phenomenal traits, and I'm so excited to hear more about what Joy does. So Joy, thank you for being here.
Thank you for
And
having me.
can you tell me or tell us what is a postpartum doula and what postpartum support looks like for the support you give?
Yes, absolutely. So, a postpartum doula is someone that it's typically defined as someone that mothers the mother. It's someone that is educated in healing after birth, that's educated in the nuances of family life and the transition in the fourth trimester and beyond. Someone that is coming into the home to take over the tasks, some tasks, as well as provide emotional support, meals, light tidying, things like that, helping families really find the rhythm that is their new and next level of their parenting experience. And I have the overwhelming joy, no pun intended, honor and privilege to support families as they find their rhythm. Exactly that. My brand of support and other postpartum doulas' brands of support are built off of many different factors. There are postpartum doulas that do offer meals. There are some postpartum doulas that do not. There are some postpartum doulas that offer no tidying or cleaning services simply because they want the focus to be on infant care education, healing education, and facilitation of rest. There are some postpartum doulas that offer overnight service. As many of you are most likely aware, social media is packed with the understanding that postpartum doulas the majority of of our support is specialized care around overnight support. I am here to tell you, nah. I am a full-time postpartum doula that offers daytime support in order to reflect back to families what it looks like to take good care of ourselves. Because if I'm offering overnight support at my big age with my 16-year-old, my 10-year-old, my husband, and my dog, I am not showing up to the next shift as my best self, ready to
Yeah.
help out. I'm showing up to my shift ready to take a nap. And so, in order to facilitate everyone else being able to nap, to rest, to find their rhythm, I provide support during the day so I can focus on taking care of myself, my needs, the needs of my family in the evening. I am a practitioner that also offers meals that are surrounded around postpartum nutrition and healing, and that are also surrounded around comfort as well. Because one of the main things that we tend to notice in this society is that we have to quickly bounce back. Our bodies have to quickly bounce back. Our minds have to quickly bounce back after carrying and growing a whole child for a full 9 months and then going through the whole birthing process and all that that entails physically, spiritually, mentally. The bounce back ain't gonna happen. We
Right.
need to let that go. We need to let that go.
Yes.
And so while we're while we're walking through that understanding of being able to rest, being able to reflect, being able to attune to our own needs, to the needs of our child, to the needs of uh, of our spouses, to the needs of our household in general, it's really important to be able to have the type of support that takes meals, I feel, that takes meals out of the equation and really focuses on being able to be lavished with the loving comfort, nutrition of a meal that's surrounded around healing and comfort. Yes.
I just love that. Everything you said. I mean, I don't see why we don't all have postpartum doulas because this sounds like magic. It's all the stuff that we need, but that we're all trying to figure out how to do all of these things. And I think as moms, we forget about ourselves because we're doing all the things for everyone. And like you said, there's so much pressure on bouncing back and getting our body, quote unquote, back, which it's a different body. We just grew another whole human. Like, love this body that we're in, and it's so special to have someone that you trust come in and take care of you. And I wish I would have looked into this more when I had my kids, because this is magical. It takes the pressure off of your spouse. It takes the pressure off of asking family. Like, it just truly has someone come in and take care of you and do all the things because they just know, because this is what you do. This is you. Yeah. I think it's so cool. And the meal piece, I mean, as a mom of three, making meals is probably the lowest thing on my favorite things to do because it just is like so much pressure around it. So to have that taken off, like, and know that you're going to be eating something that's going to really nourish you and be good, like, this sounds magical, very magical. So no, this sounds wonderful. And I love how you differentiated how you are with your families during the day, and that there are some that will do evenings. And that was one thing when we talked earlier that I didn't even realize, is that there is all different forms of postpartum doulas, and that you told me about newborn care specialists, about how they help you take care of your baby at night. And I also love about how there's so much talk around for like the fourth trimester. And like, just that is just as important as the first three trimesters. And I feel like that is one thing that I never really heard talked about. And I love that it's being talked about. How do postpartum doulas support families emotionally as well during that, fourth trimester?
Certainly. So the fourth trimester, just to offer some context, it's referring to that 3-month period after baby is born. However, there's research that does back that it can take up to 18 months for hormonal balance to be achieved in the body and other physiological changes to come to like a sense of homeostasis or find a new balance, right, for
That makes
the human
sense.
body after birth. And so, as it relates to the fourth trimester, I love that language, but I also feel like it's leaving out some very important timeline in which we can offer ourselves more grace, right? And so, yes, the conversation surrounding having support in the fourth trimester, meaning from the time after birth, whether it be at a home birth, be a birth that's taking place in hospital or in a birth center, things like that. What does it look like to have support in the transition after that? Emotional support in the fourth trimester looks like a postpartum doula asking for the birth story, asking for families to walk through what was the birthing experience like, not just for the mother, although the description of our role is to mother the mother. When we're offering holistic care, as I do, we also want to ask both the birthing person and their partner, spouse, the person that they're doing life with, the person that they're raising the child with, what their experience was as well. We want to ask questions surrounding what are their thoughts, what are their aspirations in their infant feeding journey, whether that infant feeding journey be including bottle feeding or whether it be including breastfeeding, and making sure that they have the autonomy, the empowerment, the encouragement, the facts, the evidence-based practice to be able to see that journey all the way to the end of their goal. and helping them when they're feeling like there might be some challenges in reaching that goal, reminding them of what they're capable of, reminding them of what their baby is capable of, and providing them with the resources necessary to keep that journey going, and or to remind them that they have permission to pivot into a different portion of their journey
Yes.
as long as their infant is being fed. Emotional support looks like that. It looks like offering reframes. It looks like when we're noticing that someone might be in an area where they're maybe having some challenges and want to turn those challenges into triumphs. What does it look like to remind a family of what it is that they have already triumphed over, of what it is that they can accomplish, of what are some other ways in which they can inject additional resources, additional values, additional growth opportunities into what it is that they're seeing. Now, this is not the same as toxic positivity. It's absolutely not. It's not sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops. You're going to get through this. No, 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 no. Instead, it more so looks like what I have noticed in you, what you
Yeah.
have shared with me, what I have noticed in your body language, what I have noticed in the days prior to this conversation. Really being able to lovingly reflect on what we've noticed on that person, and remind them of what it is that they're capable of, and remind them that what they're experiencing is simply a season when we come to look at the entire unfolding of their journey, that this is simply a season, just like winter and our fake spring.
Yes. Sure
This too
was.
shall pass. This is also a season as well. Yeah.
So you really get to know them. And I love that because talking about, yes, everyone has a different story, even though you can be in the same room, right? Like how you emotionally felt and like how you were supporting. Like that was one thing that I never really stopped and thought about my partner's, like how he felt about or what his feelings were. And so it was really interesting. I've only done one birth. I just not in my wheelhouse. I like fresh 48s. I can do that. But birth photography, after doing it for my friend one time, I was like, I now know or can only imagine how these dads feel. Cause you're like, should I talk? Should I not talk? What should I say? Am I being helpful? Like there's just a different, like it's totally different. And so it's so cool to have both people tell how they were feeling and like tell them your story, and then you then can use that to support them and really get to know them. That's really cool. So what kind of practical support do new moms need most after birth, and what tends to surprise new moms once they start working with a postpartum doula?
Sure. So it's really, I would say that that's very nuanced, because it really, every every type of support that's offered should be customized based off of what a family is needing, even if they can't necessarily articulate that. As the postpartum doula, our job is to observe, to go in and observe maybe what are some additional needs that the household may have. Um, if if we know that it's harder to heal and harder to stay in bed if the kitchen is a mess, because the birthing person is going to want to get up and straighten and tidy. If we if our society is also telling us as women, as community members, as parts of a family, as members of a family, that we have to be hospitable to guests, then sometimes that will look like the birthing person wanting to get out of bed to prepare the home for the doula coming in, or prepare the home for other family members coming in that wish to bond with baby, or to prepare the home for their own self so that they can feel good, so they can feel like they can rest and not feel that the clutter around them is also impacting them internally, right?
You're speaking right to me. This is, this is I struggle with that. So you're speaking right to me. Yes.
I
That's
mean,
so
it comes from
so
experience. It comes from my own
yes.
lived experience as well, you
Yes.
know? So, um, it's So that is why tidying is a thing that some postpartum doulas will offer, not because we wish to be the super nannies or not because we wish to be super maids, because that's not the role, that's not the job. It's not like being a glorified maid. It's actually in order to make the space a space that is one where healing can occur and where rest can take place. It's really to facilitate rest and healing. Um, some of the things that we'll offer, like I said, is like tidying up the kitchen, making sure that meals are made. I do offer menus, 2 different menus where folks can choose foods from that menu prior to hiring me as their postpartum support specialist. Um, Once a family does choose the meals, the number of meals that are selected that go along with their package, then I bring those groceries in and give them the opportunity to either keep those groceries or not keep those groceries. And then we reuse those groceries for additional meals that they may have planned as well. A lot of the meals that are on my menu do reuse, like have repeating ingredients because they do help facilitate with rest, healing, anti-inflammation, and things like that. Um, Other things might be laundry because postpartum hormones cause us to sweat a lot. We'll
Yes.
sweat out of bed. We'll sweat out a t-shirt really quickly, which is good for a number of reasons and actually helpful for a number of reasons as well. When it comes to attuning to baby and helping with a crying baby, things like that, a sweaty shirt can really help them feel like you're still in the room, even if you're taking a shower, right?
Oh,
So,
good point.
keeping that sweaty shirt like close to the bassinet or close to the car seat if they need to be in the bathroom with you, things like that will help baby feel that you're close, even if you're out of the room momentarily to take care of yourself. Pro tip. So,
That's so smart. I wouldn't even have thought about that. That is so smart because the scent is so huge. I mean, you can see when baby is with partners versus with mom, it's that there's so much scent involved. You didn't even think about that. So, okay, so I guess too, I would love to know like how do your families find you? Like what's the process like of like interviewing the right postpartum doula? Because I feel like you are very strategic about what services you offer because you want to give your families certain experience. How do your families find you?
Thing. So I have a website. There's all kinds of apps and websites where some postpartum doulas, birth doulas, full spectrum doulas, bereavement doulas will all post their credentials and information so that families can sort through a plethora of profiles and and even create filters for what type of support they're looking for. There's also Minnesota State Registry of Doulas. Not not every single doula is on that, but many of us are, and it will state what counties we provide support in if we take insurance or can bill insurance for postpartum doula services, for birth doula services, for full spectrum services. All types of community workers have access to resource lists or are creating resource lists specifically to connect families to independent doulas that are independent, or to connect families to doulas that work through agencies as well.
Oh, I don't even know. This is because I got your name because of Dr. Jessie at Cairo for Moms, and then I interviewed Dr. Jess right before you, and she is Cairo for Kids, and she raved about you, and so, but I had no idea until we talked. There's so many different types of doulas, and it's so cool to because you can find your person. Tell us about who do you feel like you attract, or what's the process when families contact you to make sure you're a right fit? Like, how does that?
Absolutely. So for my particular brand of support, through my website, families can fill out the contact form that's listed right on my website. And then once I receive those forms, I do set up a what's called a meet and greet with a family, where I'll walk through them through what they can expect from my postpartum support services. But really, it's also an opportunity. One of the first questions that I ask is, what is it that you would like from support? Paint me a picture of what your postpartum healing time looks like. And then it does give them the opportunity to vision cast and share with me if my support services would be helpful, or also, oh, I can draw from this thing that I offer and this thing that I offer to make a more customized package of postpartum support for each family. A lot of families most recently have been asking for the service of sibling integration,
Smart.
which looks like they have one or two children prior to the baby that they're expecting, and they just want some information on how to onboard that child with their new
Smart.
sibling in a way that doesn't require them to become parentified kids.
Yeah.
Instead, what the integrative service looks like from me is teaching a little one how to narrate the experiences that they're having being an older sibling, to
Smart.
help the little one get a little bit of an understanding of what's going on. Although a baby doesn't have that type of comprehension yet, it does create the habit so that that older sibling understands that they have the beautiful job of introducing them to the world around them and the experiences that they
So
get to
smart.
experience.
That's so smart. I honestly, I wish I would have known, because this sounds so wonderful, because it really does. It takes so much pressure off of everyone else, and just have that extra support. It just sounds phenomenal. I mean, just the cooking alone sounds phenomenal. I love that. Okay, so I would love to know, how did you become a postpartum doula? Like, what was your journey to get here?
Ooh, this question is really important to me. Um, so with my now 16-year-old son, so like 16 years ago, I struggled really, really um severely with severe postpartum depression. I'll save all of the traumatic details, but it is a blessing that I'm still here today. And just the challenge of finding the right type of support to support myself and my husband as we stepped into these very new roles, roles that were more foreign to him than they were to me as the oldest daughter of 7,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
and roles that were and roles
That's
that were
yes.
yes,
That's a lot. You talk about really understanding.
I'm the oldest daughter. I have a twin brother, so I have to
Okay.
make sure I say that part because I don't want him coming after me later. But I am the oldest daughter, but my
Okay.
twin brother is 22 minutes older than me, which makes him the oldest son.
Ooh, he is.
Uh,
Okay.
my postpartum experience, and really having a hard time with finding the right type of support, and having the right type of empowerment, the right type of autonomy to choose what we wanted our parenting journey to look like was a challenge. And not realizing that some previous traumas made me at high risk for experiencing postpartum depression. I was not aware of that. And so, kind of walking through that journey for so long, it just didn't feel like there was a light at the end of the tunnel for myself. It didn't feel like there was a light at the end of the tunnel for my spouse either, as we later came to find out that he was also experiencing postpartum depression, because it does impact partners as well. Partners can be diagnosed with postpartum depression, anxiety, and other postpartum mental health diagnosis as well. And so remembering that after going back to work in early childhood education, and then working for a church, and then pivoting when that church was getting ready to close its doors, it was time for me to figure out what my next was going to look like. And I kept harkening back to my experience as I watched my sisters birth their children. I kept harkening back to my experiences as I watched my friends birth their children. and asking for my support, and them asking what they needed to know, and them asking for me to give them meals because they love my cooking and things like that, really is what brought about this desire to want to grow that out to a bigger, to more families receiving that particular type of support, watching how my sisters and my friends thrived in a way that I could not, after the birth of my first, and really watching my family also thrive from the information that I received, like just in providing them with support and just in doing the research before becoming a postpartum doula of what it looks like to provide support and what it looks like to reclaim support practices that are cultural as well. That really helped me experience my postpartum healing in a different way when my daughter was born 10 years ago. And so those night and day experiences helped me understand the value of providing support to the community as a whole, and what changes are possible for new parents, for our future, for our country, for our state, through being lavished with love, and being set right on the path to parenting. That is absolutely why I still do this work, why I'm still passionate about this work as well. So going into training it through CAPPA, which is Childbirth and Postpartum Professionals Association, and getting my training out of the way. Once I finished that training, almost immediately during the pandemic, there were asks for families to receive support. So, like 2 weeks out of training, I was already supposed to be providing support, and I was nervous, but we did it. And it was
Well,
amazing.
it sounds like you had so much great real world experience before you got certified that you were just ready to do it. You wanted to get that certification. You knew what people needed. You knew what you needed. So, I mean, you were ready to rock. I bet you were so excited, but also probably overwhelmed because it was COVID, right?
Yes, absolutely overwhelmed because it was
Yes.
COVID, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And then also like, oh, I know what my friends need because I know them, right? I know what my
True.
sisters need because I know them. But just being able to build that type of rapport with a family that I hadn't met before, and not knowing what I was walking into, right? All of
Yeah.
that was so like nerve-wracking, outside of, COVID as well. But it was all for my betterment, all to be able to embrace this calling in my life. And training happened and certification came later. So I was providing support for 3 years prior to becoming certified, which, through CAPPA, according to CAPPA, we are allowed to do. Postpartum doulas can provide support, like as trained doulas prior to receiving their certification.
When we talked previously, you told me you have an additional certification. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes. So through African American Baby Coalition, I took a training 2 years ago that allowed me to become a trauma informed care practitioner. That training looked like getting more acquainted and more deeper understanding outside of just general trauma or generational trauma, also getting a deeper understanding of trauma, as it relates to ACEs, which are adverse childhood experiences, trauma as it relates to mental health, trauma as it relates to addiction, and a plethora of other experiences. And what does it look like for a family that is on the healing journey of post trauma, post experiences with trauma, and stepping into their parenting journey beyond the level of difficulty that comes along with stepping into the parenting journey, attuning and healing all at the same time. There are things that come up. For those of us that have experienced trauma, there are things that come up after birth happens that our body just continues to reveal to us, or our mind just continues to reveal to us, or where we may hyper focus on, or that our mood will continue to reveal to us. And what does it look like to have someone come into a home and provide support, understanding those things without feeling like you're under the microscope or have to over explain? Um, and so it was important to me understanding that that was a barrier for me specifically, that if I had the funds, if I had the knowledge, if I had access to the resource of a postpartum doula, would I want them to come into my home while I was struggling at that time? No. No, because the things that were coming up, can I trust them with those truths? Do
Yeah.
I want to relive those things? Do they understand what these tears are actually coming from? Are they going to put up the band-aid of everything gets better over it? Or am I actually going to be able to receive some somatic practice work where we can be in touch with what our body needs to reset our nervous system? Am I going to be encouraged? All right, I'm going to set a timer for you. Your tears are more than allowed. We want you to feel those feelings 100%. But the timer is because no matter what's going on in the next 3 minutes, you're going to be able to get in the shower. You're going to be able to get in the shower so that you can feel those feelings wash over you. Not so that we can stop them, not so
Yeah.
that we can discredit them, not so we can hide them or bury them, but so that you can have them wash over you in the shower. And then if you want to
Beautiful.
talk about them more after that shower, I'm here for you. If you don't, I'm going to go ahead and wear your baby and get this laundry done.
Well, that's just so beautiful to just have that support. Like, I think a lot of times you don't even realize that you need it until it comes out sideways. So to have someone there that is just there, whatever you need, but also help guide you through it too, and to normalize it, right? In the sense of it comes out in all different ways and you don't even know when it's going to come out. And so to have that support is, I mean, that just is phenomenal. Again, why wouldn't you hire a postpartum doula? Because there's way too many benefits at this point. I don't like this is so eye-opening. I was curious because I had 3 C-sections. Is a postpartum doula, like, what is that like? I mean, I'm guessing it's pretty similar, but is there any differences?
I'm so glad you brought that up because I did want to go back and say, when I was listing the types of births, I did not say C-section. So thank you so much, Megan, for mentioning
No.
that because it's really important. Because of the amount of healing that the body is going through, I mean, we're talking about muscles mending, both muscles in the core, like core muscles, and tissues that are mending. Or in some cases, we're also talking about perennial mending and pelvic floor mending, all at the same time in some cases. And so it's really important to be able to have someone that can come into your home and provide support services that will accommodate rest, that will offer you your options for, would you like your belly bound or do you want to know more about belly binding? Are you interested in uh, ways that we can keep your incision nice and clean and clear? Are there things that I can offer? Having that reminder and having the weight of um, being reminded about when to take your medicine, having that taken off
Yeah.
of your spouse.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Or having it taken off of your own mind so you don't have to try to remember when it's time to take that medication, because if you're feeling the pain, it's a little too late. We
Yes. You
want to get
don't,
ahead
you
of the
want to
game.
get ahead of it. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely, absolutely. And who is there to remind you, let's get up and move, or what is your body telling you? Having someone that comes in with that knowledge and that skill set of how to make you best comfortable and what questions to ask that take the mental load off of you. Like, do you want this pillow? Do you want that? Do you want this blanket? Where are your socks? Blah, blah, blah. We're not going to ask all of those questions. What we're going to do is go to the laundry bin that we just washed, get your socks, put them on your feet, get that pillow that you really liked in the bed, bring it to the couch or the chair, and make sure that you are set wherever you're at. And snacks. We're going to make sure you have your snacks for healing,
So
for
you just
nursing, for all the
know what
things.
we need before we need them. Is that what you're saying? You're just saying the postpartum doula knows exactly what you need before you need it, which as females is like mind blowing because the mental load is real. It is. It's so real. Okay, I'm curious, how long do you work with your families?
Yes. So I have a background in early childhood education. I also have a background in providing nanny services in the back. Don't tell anyone that. It's a secret. And so I have My brand of support provides support to families for up to the baby's first birthday.
Wow.
And also, there are there are some families, that are simply looking for that support in those very first weeks just to get the ball rolling and finding their rhythm. I think that that's really valuable. There's also postpartum doulas that's all that they do is focus on the transition out of birth, out of delivery, right? And those very first days. And then it's time to whimsically fly away like Mary Poppins, to have that Mary Poppins moment so that families can continue finding their rhythm, continue honing their skills by themselves. In my particular brand of support, I do not accept like contracts or like service agreements that are specifically set 100% for a full year. No, 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 no. We'll try things at like 2 to 3 weeks minimum, 4 weeks, 5 weeks maximum, and then see how things go after that, because I don't want my support to become a crutch to the point where a family cannot find their own skills or cannot develop their own rhythm or don't feel that they have the autonomy to choose to what life looks like after someone is there providing support. And so it's a dance. It's a dance
Yeah.
and it requires a lot of observation and a lot of open communication with that family as well.
So
And
it's
so
just
that's what it looks
very
like.
personalized then. So it's like up to a year, but it's you're working with your families to really figure out what's best for them to give them the most support, but also realize when they need to take the ball and roll with it too. So a lot more of that anticipating, right? Like just knowing what they need because you have all this experience. My favorite questions that I've asked so far is, can you share one powerful moment from your work that you'll never forget? I know it's such a loaded question, but I love it because I feel like there could be more than one too.
Yes, there's so many. I just feel so honored and privileged to be able to provide support to all families because I love babies and I love families and I love holding space and holding people's truths, holding people's treasures, as far as like their children and their truths, their experiences, their being able to be vulnerable, them choosing to be vulnerable with me in moments is such an honor, and I do not hold that role lightly. To be able to watch families that I've been able to walk alongside of and go to their children's second and third and fourth and first birthdays. There's one family specifically that their little ones call me auntie, and I just think that that's so cool. And that just hearing a little one that I had the opportunity of providing support to last year for several months call me Yaya. I thought that was so special. Hearing them call their parents mama and dada for the first time, and then hearing them bestow me with a name was so special to me. I just left bawling and laughing and smiling that I have the opportunity to have a role in these families' lives, but also just knowing that the work that I'm doing is creating a legacy for not only my children, but the children that I have the pleasure of providing support to, a legacy that really helps their parents rise to in the midst of all the challenges, in the midst of all that's going on in this world, rise to the challenge of being the very best possible parents that they can be because they have the very best possible start is everything to me. Everything.
I just love that. It's like the connection, right? Like just truly having connection with other people and just the ripple effect that that has, being a good person and truly caring about someone, it's tenfold, right? Like it just everyone can feel it and it just continues to move outward. I can tell based on the way you talk about, what you do, how much you love it and how passionate you are about it. So I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about this because I truly had no idea what a postpartum doula did. I thought I did, but this, I mean, I, I've everyone needs one. Like, I don't see why you wouldn't. Like, I get that it's an extra cost, but it helps bridge the gap when you're coming home and trying to figure it all out. And there's just a lot of hormones and emotions and so much going on, just to have a person there to help support and care. And that's their job. It sounds phenomenal. Joy, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for taking the time. Is there anything else you want to talk about? And did you want to tell everyone how they can get in touch with you? I'll also put it in the notes for in the video too.
Certainly. So I'm currently taking clients that are due in the month of May and June. One stigma I want to discuss is postpartum doula services are not luxury services. In every culture, there is a type of postpartum helper, and everyone is deserving of having that particular type of support that allows them the opportunity to flourish, not just in the fourth trimester, but in the first year, first 18 months, right? We all need that, someone that's going to help us set us up on that path. And while we're thinking about the things that baby needs during our pregnancy, and we're planning things to ask for for the baby shower, don't forget to start a fund or
Good idea.
request for postpartum support. I've seen that's another way to make that particular type of support accessible to families. And then also mutual aid. If there is a need for support, and many birth workers, many postpartum doulas that are independent, that are outside of working with an agency, will raise funds or be able to tap into mutual aid funds, or have specifically set up mutual aid programs for their business that make support affordable. Or in some cases, will have sliding scales that will make support affordable. So never count yourself out just because money is looking funny, right? It's really important to make sure that you have the support that you need regardless. And there are some postpartum doulas, I'm not one of them, but there are some postpartum doulas that can bill insurance to provide support.
That's awesome. I think we just automatically probably assume like, oh, I can't afford it. But it's so nice to know that there are programs set up. Okay, so they can find you on your website. And are you active on social? Can they find you on social as well?
Yes, I do have an Instagram and Facebook as well. In the Instagram, definitely working on making more posts.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This was super eye-opening for me, and I hope that more people can reach out to you and find if you're the right fit for them, or, find someone that is the right fit for them, because this sounds absolutely phenomenal.